Hi guys, today we're going to do a yoga class specifically designed for runners or anyone that experiences tightness in the lower body and then would like to strengthen the core and the supporting muscles around the hips and the back. And so you're going to start off in a bound ankle position, just bringing the soles of the feet together and folding over. It's a nice loose diamond shape with the legs. And see if you can really release into the back body here, just deepening the breath, imagining the back expanding and contracting with each inhalation and exhalation. And as the body begins to soften, notice the knees drop open a little bit wider. The inner thighs start to give way tension. Just a couple more deep breaths in and out through the back. And on your next inhale, gently rise up. I'm going to take the left hand to the thigh and just gently come down over your right knee. So bringing the forehead towards the knee or as the best you can, and just pressing away your left hip. I'm kind of feeling into the groin and into the QL and the lower back area. And just leaning the body weight into that right knee. And going over to the other side. See if you can press your right hand into the thigh and drop your forehead into your left knee. Again, just getting long with the spine and really pressing the weight down into that right hip so the right hip stays grounded. Making space in the back. More breath. And inhaling to come back to center and bring the knees together and come over into a seated position. And just rolling and windshield wiper the knees out. So the feet are really wide here on the mat and just really rotating through the hips. Good. And let's go ahead and go hold at our strap here. We're going to bring this strap, or if you don't have a strap, you can use a tie or even a dog leash works. And we're just going to put it over the right foot. And start to gently lean back so that we're coming down onto the back body. And that right leg is going to extend to the ceiling and just take a couple of deep breaths into the right hamstring and the back of the thigh. And as you start to sink into that, just being relaxed with the grip of the hands. If you want to add a little bit of movement, see if you can draw just like a 6-inch circle with your foot around the hip joint. So it doesn't have to be a huge circle, just enough to feel the back of the pelvis and the hip pressed against the floor. And going both directions with your circles. And keeping that right foot flexed. And then we're going to bring it over to the left side to come into a twist. So as slowly as you can, just letting that foot come down towards the floor. And you can grab as close as you want to on your right foot there. So opposite hand to foot, or hold the strap. And for some reason on this side I can always hold my foot, but on the other side I cannot. So you might find that as well, just the differences in the body. Inhaling to come back to center and then opening the leg out to the side. So we're going to bend the right knee into half happy baby pose. You can use the strap here to hold down the foot, or if you can, reach for the outside of your foot or ankle. And notice how I'm holding down the left hip. So the left hip is staying grounded. Stack your foot right on top of your knee as you drop the knee out to the side here. And again, you can use this strap if it's too much of a reach. If you want to add a little bit more intensity, extend your right leg out to the right side to stretch the inner thigh. And then bring the leg back to center where it was. Picking yourself up. Let's switch sides. Crossing the strap over the left foot now. And then just start to lean back, pulling and resisting the foot up to the ceiling. And give a good stretch to the back of your left thigh now. And keep your right toes just slightly active. I'm going to make some circles with the left leg, just kind of feeling your way around that joint. I'm just trying to soften the back of the thigh. This area of the body gets very tight, especially on anyone that's doing a lot of running or biking. It's going both directions with your circles. And we're going to cross the right leg or left leg over to the left to find a twist. Now grab as close as you can to your foot. If you can touch your foot with your right hand, then do that. Otherwise, just hold the strap and really rolling all the way over onto your right hip to get the full benefit of the twist. Try to let your shoulders drop to the mat. They don't have to touch all the way. Good, and let's come back to center. And again, we're just gonna bend into that left knee, out to the side, towards your armpit. Hold on to the foot or the ankle, or use the strap to pull the knee down into half happy baby pose. Firm through your right thigh and ground the right hip down. Just take a few more moments to really stretch into that inner thigh. And if you'd like to open in the groin, the hamstring a little bit more, extend your left leg out to the side towards your shoulder. Good. Let's come back to center and then start to pick yourself up. Go ahead and remove the strap and we'll just stretch the ankles a bit. So I'm going to point and flex through the toes. Ankle mobility is really important, especially when you're on your feet, you're running. You want to prevent injury, especially if you're trail running. And so pointing, flexing through the toes, try to spread the toes out and take big circles with the ankles. And go circling back the opposite direction. Let's try to really warm up those ankles. Good. And we're going to come over into a tabletop position from here. So stacking hands underneath shoulders and knees under hips. And begin to just lift the chest and the sit bones. And exhale, round the back and push into the lower back. And again, inhale, lift the chest, lengthen the spine forward. And exhale, round into the back and push back into the hips. Inhale, roll the body forward into the hands, lift the chest. And exhale, push back into the hips. And one last time, draw the heart forward, lift the chest, and then begin to roll and round the back. This time as you lift, we're going to tuck the toes under and then begin to firmly press the knees off the floor, just like you're hovering in that tabletop position. Just a couple inches. See if you can engage your core, fire your thighs, and then start to scoop your tailbone to the sky, pressing your chest back to your thighs, then straighten your legs. You can walk your legs out, stretch your legs out a little bit here. Hug your lower rib cage in to engage the core. And on your next inhale, start to lower back down, hover the knees against the floor, flat back. Exhale, press the chest back to the thighs, very slowly unbending the legs. Inhale again, rolling forward, stacking shoulders over wrists, knees drop, hovering against the floor. Engage the core. Then begin to slowly slide back into downward dog, letting the heels drop towards the ground best you can. On your next inhale, I'm going to sweep the right leg high, three-legged dog. Bend your right knee, drawing your heel to your glute. See how high you can lift your right knee to the sky and drop the left foot into the ground. On your next exhale, draw your right knee into your chest. And over to the right side, planting it down to the right hand. Both hands to the inside of the thigh. Scoot your left leg back. Back leg straight, lift your chest. Imagine dropping your hips down towards the floor, but keep that back knee lifted. And just this one long line from the chest all the way down to the hip flexor in the left thigh. And then set your left thigh. Try not to just set your knee on the ground. And then bring the right hand to your right thigh and look over the shoulder to twist. See if you can push away your right thigh a bit from your chest. And walk the right foot to center. Sit back, stretch your right leg all the way out, unbending and flattening the back. If you'd like to, you can add a little tap and point with the toe and the ankle, flexing and extending. And just try to think about that long back, long spine, tailbone lifting behind you. And inhale, draw the heart through, bending into the right knee, tuck the back toes. Begin to push off the back knee and send the right leg high to the sky again. Hugging the knee to chest just for a moment. And then extend that leg back to the sky. Bend your right knee, open and stack the hips. Exhale, bring the right foot back down and change sides. Left leg lifts high. Bend the left knee, open and stack the hips. Just how high can you draw that knee to the ceiling and drop into your back leg? Back knee, back heel to this floor. And then exhale, draw your left knee into your chest, hug it in. And then little step up with that left foot. Slide the right leg back and extend the leg. So holding this lizard pose, but don't drop down. See if you can keep that left foot to the edge of the mat. And then just kind of wiggling your way into it if you want to even. Just kind of letting your hips get nice and juicy and relaxed and loose. And try not to let go of that tension on the hip flexor. And sending the thigh to the floor. When you're ready, come into a twist, left hand to thigh, twisting, look over the shoulder, pushing the knee away from your chest. Lean back a bit. Sink into your left hip, your right hip point. And then walking the left foot to center between the hands, extend the leg, half split. Flatten the back. And again, if you want to point and extend your ankle. Try to keep thinking about drawing that left hip point back to even and square off the pelvis and letting the chest lengthen through. On your next inhale, bend into the left knee, plant the hands firm, tuck the back toes to lift off the right thigh, then draw the left knee to hug to the chest and hold it for a moment. Inhale, extend the left leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. And exhale, let the left foot come back down to downward. On your exhale, bend into your knees. We're going to set the heels together to touch and come into frog squat. So extending your hips back behind your heels. Let your finger pads just rest to the floor and really getting your ankles a little stretch here and your toes and your feet, especially into the lower back even, the whole back body. Really breathe into that sacrum. Good. Let's draw the knees together now. Sit onto your heels. Try to spread your toes and then balancing. Draw your core in, bring the hands to the heart, and see if you can just balance on the heels, sitting down to the heels. Keep hugging the knees together. Draw the knees all the way down to the floor now. And if you can, keep sitting down onto your heels and really stretching into the fascia of the foot, the plantar fascia. Open the chest, elbows wide. Exhale, eagle arms, right elbow underneath the left, and lift the elbows up to the ceiling. Little back extension. Exhale, draw the elbows to heart, lean forward and down, and separate the shoulders. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the elbows high. And open them back wide. Elbows stay bent. And this time, cross your right elbow underneath, left elbow underneath the right. So opposite side. If you need to come down off your toes, just like I did then, you are welcome to come off of your toes and sit on the backs of your feet, tops of your feet. I'm going to grab your arms. You can grab your arms or your shoulders. Bring the elbows down to your heart. And then inhale, lift the elbows as high as you can. Open them out to the sides. Big inhale. Exhale, bring the hands back to the floor to tabletop and curl the toes. Roll out the ankles a bit. Just let the feet kind of release after that long hold. And begin to tuck the toes back into downward dog and sit back into the heels. Inhale, roll forward into plank. Legs strong, engage the thighs. Back nice and flat. And come down to chaturanga. Elbows in line with the heart. You can always drop your knees to the floor. Inhale, lift halfway up. Draw your shoulder blades down and together. Bring the elbows back by your thighs. And then slide your heart all the way through and up into cobra. Just keep pressing the tops of the feet into the ground. Elbows down, shoulders down, away from the ears. And as you exhale, come back into child's pose. Big toes to touch, knees open. And let your forehead come down to the mat. And just softening here. Just letting the lower back release. Inhale, come up into tabletop. And I'm going to tuck the toes under and come up into downward dog. Inhale, lift the right leg high. Keep flexing through the feet and square off the hips, the right inner thigh hugging into the left. Slowly draw the right knee to the right shoulder, roll forward into plank. Inhale, right leg back to the sky, reach the heel to the ceiling. Exhale, cross and twist, right knee to left elbow. Inhale, come back to center. And one last time, draw the knee into the center. And then step it through. Back leg stays straight, come up to a high lunge. Big lift of the spine. Drop your tailbone and keep that back leg as straight as possible. And now we're interlace the hands behind the back and just giving a little pull through the chest and straightening the elbows. And exhale, release the hands, bring them back to frame that right foot. Hug the inner thighs together, then sweep the right arm overhead to twist. And see if you can stack your shoulders the best you can, maybe rolling back that left shoulder. Keeping that firm press, the inner thighs together. Exhale, right hand comes back down. Step the right leg up to the sky, three-leg dog. And then inhale, roll forward into plank, or keep the leg lifted through your plank chaturanga, and then up into cobra or upward dog. Exhale, back into child's pose. And let's take a little rest off of the wrists. And inhale, come back up into downward dog when you're ready to do the other side. Left leg lifts high. Inner thighs squeeze and hug together. Exhale, knee to your left elbow. Hugging the core in, big stretch up, left leg to the sky again. Exhale, cross, twist to the right elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale to the center. Then plant the left foot down, come up into high lunge. Spine nice and tall, back leg straight. Again, just reaching through that hip flexor. Squaring the hips. Exhale, interlace the hands behind the back, then lift the chest. And start to release the hands, bring back to frame that left foot. And take a big twist from here. So left arm goes high, hug the inner thighs. Again, that back heel pointing to the ceiling. Roll your right shoulder back, stack the arms. And then replant the hands, sweep the left leg back to the sky, three-leg dog. And come forward into plank, or keep that back leg lifted into chaturanga. Draw the heart forward into cobra. And exhale to downward again. Feel the heels release to the floor. Come back down to child's pose if you'd like. A couple of deep breaths into the waist. When you're ready to come back up, let's lower down to the elbows. The elbows are stacking directly underneath the shoulders into Sphinx pose. Let the legs relax to the floor and the hips release to the floor. And we're going to draw back into a little quad stretch here. So bend your left knee, and if it doesn't quite make a connection with your foot, you can grab a hold of the strap and put the strap over the top of your left foot and bring it over your shoulder to stretch into the quad. Just drawing the heel towards the glute and feeling a big stretch to the psoas, the hip flexor, the quad. If you want to, you can always just hold on to it if you don't have a strap and just push the foot down towards your outside of your left hip. If you want to get more of a stretch, lift off your right elbow and really lengthen the chest forward and deepening that back bend. Good. And releasing the foot. Go over to the other side. So right heel to glute. You can always come down off of that left elbow if it feels too intense. If you can, try to point your right elbow to the ceiling, internally rotating the shoulder. And bringing that quad stretch deep into heel to glute. And again, if you want to lift up off of the left elbow to deepen that stretch a little bit more, feel free to do that. And release both feet. Bring the hands back by the chest. And just wiggle your way through to come back up into tabletop. And exhale. If your head doesn't quite touch the ground there, you can always bring your hands underneath your head for a little bit more grounding. And inhaling, come back up into downward dog when you're ready. Reach the right leg high. Again, three-leg dog. Exhale, draw the right knee towards the heart. Just slowly exhale to the left elbow, crossing and twisting. And one last time, right through center, bring that right knee in and step it through. Inhale, come back up into high lunge. And just like before, keeping that back leg long, really lift out of your waist. And then start to twist. Reach your left hand forward, your right hand back. Hug the inner thighs and drop your right hand to the back leg or behind your back. Exhale, left hand comes down to the floor and elongate into the twist. Right arm comes up high. Hug the inner thighs. If you need to move that right foot out to the side a little bit more, do that. And we're going to just fall onto the back knee. If you'd like to, here you can grab the strap and make a connection as you bend the left knee into heel to glute and get a hold of the strap, or hold the foot with your hand. Good. And let's release. Bring both hands to frame that right foot. And then just start to straighten out both legs from here. So a little stretch into the hamstring. Lengthening out the torso, draw the right hip back. And just folding over that right thigh. Getting long with the spine. Inhale, lengthen the spine out. Bend into the right knee. Step back into that lunge. Planting the hands firm. Start to lift off the right foot and come back into three-leg dog. Bending the knee, open the hips. Come back up into plank or lift that right leg through chaturanga and come up into cobra, downward dog. Then send the left leg high. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, knee to the right elbow. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, knee to center. Hold it there, then lightly step through. Come up into high lunge when you're ready. Again, just make sure the hips are facing all the way to the front of the mat. Stay low. Sweep the right hand forward, left hand back, twist. And then reach down your back leg, right arm overhead. And exhale, right hand to the floor, sweep around, left arm overhead to twist. Move your left foot out to the side of the mat. And we're going to drop the back leg towards the floor. Reach back, maybe bind back foot to hand. Kind of sinking into that right hip point, leaning back, chest away from left thigh. And coming back to center, walk your left foot between the hands and straighten out both legs, maybe popping the back foot up a little bit. Draw your left hip back and really stretch into that left hamstring. If you need to use blocks or some elevation underneath your hands to reach the floor, do that. So all the focus here is really on stretching through the legs, lengthening the legs, the fronts of the legs, the backs of the legs, the calves, the hips, the hip flexors. Good. Stay a big step back, left leg reaches high, heel to glute, bend the back knee. And then roll forward into plank, vinyasa to the floor, coming up into cobra or upward, and exhale back to downward dog. Good. Slowly release back to the floor into child's pose. We're going to come up into that frog squat again. So drop your heels together and bring your knees wide, scooting your bum back behind your heels and really drop your tailbone to the floor. Good. Knees come together. Lift your chest. And then standing nice and tall, all the way up to the sky, try to lift up on your tiptoes, engaging the ankles, engaging the legs, lifting arms overhead, and then drop into a modified version of chair pose. So keeping the heels lifted, bend the knees. Come back up to straighten. And then again, drop down into that chair position. Try to keep the knees together. Lift off the heels and then slowly drop down. Good. Release that. We're going to come into one last little balance pose here to kind of finish off the active portion of our practice. Lift your right knee into your chest. We're going to come into a pistol squat. Hold your right foot with your right hand, grabbing the outside of the foot. Stay here or extend your right leg out in front of you. You don't have to have it all the way. And we're going to drop into the left heel. So sitting down into a pistol squat. You can hold onto your leg or use blocks or use the floor to balance. And then hard part, push yourself all the way up with your left foot. Extend your right leg out and release. Good. So go to the other side, weight into the right foot, bring your left knee to chest. Feel free to hold this and just work your balance here. If you like a little more challenge, grab the outside of your foot or ankle. And then if you like a little bit more challenge than that, extend your leg. Straightening, back flat, slow lower down into that right heel. Sit into the ankle. And then push into your right heel to engage your glute and lift that left leg up and maybe fall, and that's okay. Shake it out. Good. I'm just going to release into a little wide-legged forward fold. So step the feet nice and wide so that the hamstrings can get a little release, and just slide down your legs, folding from the hips. Interlace the hands behind the back and pull the shoulders overhead and to release head, neck, and chest. A couple deep breaths. Hands come back to floor, and then just start to walk your feet in to Malasana. So heels are right underneath your hips about. Knees are wide, elbows pressing into knees. And then taking a twist, reach your right hand out to the side, left hand to thigh. Lean back. And opposite side. Lean back into that left arm, pushing the right foot, right knee away. Good. And then when you're ready to come back onto the bottom, we're going to come into a pigeon pose. So cross your left leg back and keep your right foot in front. And you want to bring your left knee to the floor the best you can so the toes are on the ground completely. The closer your right foot is into the groin, the easier the stretch is going to be. And the more that the shin is parallel with the front of the mat, the more intense that external rotation of the hip is going to be. And when you're ready to just release down into that glute muscle, into the hip, just go ahead and come down to the elbows. And then deepening a little bit more, walk your body over that right knee. So you're kind of leaning into a diagonal, and this is going to stretch more of the glute muscle. Good. Just nice deep breaths. And then we're going to bring the left foot around and cross the left knee over the right. You're going to hold here or lean forward, bringing the chest down over the thighs. And this is just a really intense IT band or glute stretch. Good. And let's go to the left leg. So bring your right leg all the way around into pigeon pose. And kind of squaring off the hips the best you can. try to bring the right knee to face the floor. And then walk yourself down over your shin. And just releasing to the elbows. Good. Walk the upper body over to the left knee. So facing chest to knee. And then start to release a little more strongly into that glute muscle. And strong glutes are really important when you're doing running or biking. It's really, they get really strong naturally from doing those types of movements. So it's really important to stretch them out just so there's not any overuse injury. Let's bring the right knee around and cross the right knee over the left. So it should be the opposite side. And we're just going to sit back into our hips. So your knees might be a little lifted more than mine are. That's okay. You just try to do the best you can with it, crossing and stacking. And if you want to come down over the knees and deepen the stretch. Let's try to think about pulling the sides of the waist out. Yeah. Nice. And as we come back to center, I'm going to do just one final little stretch here. Legs out in front of you. Grab the strap and put it over the soles of the feet, the balls of the feet. And slowly pull the elbows back so that your chest is reaching forward. And you're tipping your spine. You're tipping your whole pelvis forward. And once you can't tip forward anymore through your pelvis, just release your hands. They might rest on your ankles, your shins, your feet. And if it feels okay for your back, you can even release all the way down. Good. So from here, we're going to take this strap over the right foot. Grab your left hand to the strap or to the right foot if you can hold on to it. And then reach your right hand all the way back and come into a twist. So I have longer arms, so I can reach my hand to my foot, twisting into that IT band. Tight IT bands are really problem causing for knees. So a lot of knee pain is related to the IT band. Good. Cross your right foot over your left leg and just twist a little bit more deeply, opposite elbow to knee. And as you come back to center, bring the strap over the left foot. Grab the right hand to the strap or hand to foot and twist back, left hand behind you. Again, lift the foot off the ground and see if you can engage the core to just lift that leg and twist a little bit more strongly into IT. And then cross the left foot over the right, opposite elbow to knee, and reach your chest behind. Good. And when you're ready, just let your body come down to your back. You can bring your feet to the floor, knees bent, and just start to breathe diaphragmatically. Just really letting the back sink into the ground, breathing and releasing. And stay as long as you like here. And allowing the body to soften. And thank you for joining me for this practice today. Namaste.